Hey, what's up? It's your girl, Dinisa, aka Dee, also known as Deedeesaidso, and this is my YouTube channel, Deedeesaidso, and I'm back with another video. So as always, if you're new here, welcome. If you're not new here, welcome back. If you like the videos you're watching, make sure you give a thumbs up, click the subscribe button, and click the notification bell so you don't miss any more of my videos. So today, we have for you a January wrap-up and a February TBR list for 2025. So in the month of January, I was able to read 10 books, so close to my 12-book goal. Trying to do 12 books a month, which will give me a total of 144 for the end of the year. So I'm going to go through all of the books that I read. I'll give you a little excerpt about it. And there is a YouTube short of my January wrap up and my February TBR, because when we did my book clubs meeting after my original post, there'll be a couple of books added, and also because there is a couple of books that I've already read that were not on the list, that'll be added as well. So let's go with what we already read, and we're going to start with our Audible. So sorry about this little light dot right here. It's irritating me, so I hope it's not irritating you, but I'll put the books up right here. So the first book we read was James by Percival Everett, which is a retelling of the adventures of Huckleberry Finn and the enslaved person point of view. So essentially, James, aka Jim, finds out that he's going to be sold to another plantation in New Orleans. So he runs away to hide out a little bit so that he can make a plan. Simultaneously, Huck, who is a little white boy, has also faked his own death and ran away as well. So it gives the illusion that Jim is not only a runaway, but that he's also a murderer. He goes through these adventures with Huck, and he comes back to his family at some point. Don't want to tell too much, but you have to read it to find out. It does trigger warning. It does have the R word. It is talking about enslavement, whipping, and things of that nature. So it was a difficult read, but they're written very well, and I was so glad that it ended with a happy ending. The second book we read was Long Way Home by Tanisha Stewart. Shout out to Tanisha Stewart. She actually asked me to be a part of her ARC team, meaning that I got a advanced reader copy of this book right before it was out. But if you have not had a chance to check it out, please go check it out. And please leave a review when you do. Any books that you read, if you are a bookie or just trying to get into books, please leave reviews, whether good or bad. It does help the author. Well, you may want to only leave a review if it's good. But like if it's bad, find a way to find something positive about it. It's about a young lady. She's going to the store to get a present for her godson. She has her young son, Benji. She goes to the car, straps Benji in, and goes to put the gift bag in the car, and she is struck beyond the head, and she wakes up in the hospital and no Benji. So the story goes along finding out who took Benji, is he still alive, why did they take him, etc. Next book we read was White Smoke by Tiffany D. Jackson. It's about a young lady named Marigold. She moves with her blended family from California to Ohio, and she seems to be running ghosts. It seems like it's ghosts in the house, like she's being haunted. When you get to the plot twist and find out what's going on with these ghosts, it will definitely baffle you. And you be like, oh my goodness, what the heck? It was really something. If that's all I can say. Definitely check it out. It also one of them books where it's a long introduction and then it's sped up at the end. So if you hate books like that, because sometimes I feel like it can be like a little slow burn, and then it feels like everything is kind of brought together in the last few chapters and then it ends, don't read it. But if you are okay with that, give it a shot. The next book is Honey Girl by Morgan Rogers. It's about a young lady named Grace. For the last 11 years, she's done everything by the book. She went to school. She has gotten a PhD for astronomy. She's been trying to do everything by the books to please her military father. But as she goes off to Las Vegas to celebrate, she finds herself, as she wakes up, that she's married, but not only married, she's married to a woman. She doesn't have time to get all the logistics together. She flies back home, but her and her wife gets a chance to come together to find out, can they make this relationship work, even though it was something that they never fully invested in. If you are looking for a book about finding yourself, breaking away from barriers and like the standards of what your parents and people think you should do, then I think you will like this book. A Piece of Cake by Cupcake Brown. One word: resilience. When I tell you this lady went through so much, we're talking about prostitution, the R word, death of a parent, neglection, running away, homelessness, drugs, alcoholism, all before the age of 20. All I gotta say is that she ended up having a happy ending, and the goals that she set out for her life down the line, she was able to accomplish them. This book is kind of long. It's like 400 plus pages, and it was like a 21-hour audio. Um, And I just like the way that she chose to turn her life around. And if you are looking for a resilient story or someone who pushed past all the barriers, like you ever feel like you're going through something in life and then you look at someone else's life and be like, if they could do it, I could do it. If Cupcake can do it, I could do it too. All right, going into some of the physical books. The first one we have is The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. It follows Sydney. She's a young single woman in New York City. Goes on a blind date in the beginning of the book, and it turns out to be kind of creepy, like almost essay type of situation. She gets saved by this guy who we find out later she ends up dating. And but the premise is there is a guy that is going around killing his victims, like killing his girlfriends, and we're trying to figure out if Sydney's going to be next. Hopefully Sydney's not next, but you have to read to find out. The next book we have is Whiteout. It's by Donnell Clayton, Tiffany D. Jackson, Nick Stone, Angie Thomas, Ashley Woodfolk, and Nicola Yoon. Some of the great African American authors have come together. There is a first book. It's called Blackout, and this is the second one. Basically, there's a snowstorm in Atlanta. There's a couple. The character is trying to win their relationship back, and throughout it, they get their friends to help them, and then their friends have little relationships in between. I don't remember a lot from this book. I know I read it, but there was one storyline, and I think it's like the first or the second storyline that I was so invested in, and we just got like a quick little snippet. Some of the other stories was kind of like muddled over, but it all came together to create a great love story. And because it's a romance, it's going to be a happy ending. I am interested to find out or to like read some of these authors' individual work. I have read books by Nicola Yoon and Tiffany D. Jackson, clearly, as that was one of the books earlier, but I'll just say read it at your own leisure. Frida Did It Again, One by One by Frida McFadden follows Claire and Noah. They are a couple that is kind of a little on the rocks. They've been married for 12 years. They go away on this trip with their friends. Amongst the trips, they're about 2 miles away from the inn that they're planning on staying at, and the minivan breaks down, and they decide to truck their way towards the inn in the woods, and they start getting off one by one. We have to find out who the killer is. Why are they doing this? Will Claire and Noah's marriage stand the test of time? There's a little bit of infidelity. There's a little bit of plot. I mean, there's a major plot twist. Plot twist took me by surprise. Okay. Yeah, read that. The Couple Next Door by Sherry Lapina follows, what is their name? Let's look in the book. Anne and Marco. Anne and Marco, they decide to go to a dinner party next door, and they leave their 6-month-old baby Cora at home, but she'll be fine. We're going to check the monitors. We're going to check on her every half hour. They come home to find out that the baby is missing. We have to find out who took baby Cora, why they took her, is she still alive? Is it the parents? Is it the next door neighbors? Is it Anne's parents? Like, what's going on? Who did it and why? A Very Merry Bromance, which is the fifth installment of the Bromance Book Club. I thoroughly enjoy all of the books from Bromance Book Club, so it's kind of hard to figure out who was my favorite couple. But this follows Colton and Gretchen. Gretchen happens to be the ex of Max, which is one of the former members. And it was like a love and leaving situation. They had like a one night stand at the night of the wedding, and then Gretchen was kind of scared to move forward, but Colton wanted to move forward until fate brought them back together about a year later when Gretchen needed help from Colton for a business deal for her family. So those were the 10 books that I read. Now we're going to go on to my TBR list for February. Be right back. So for my TBR for February, I'm just going to go through the books. You'll obviously get a detailed description of the books like I did for the January books in the February wrap up. But first we have Master of Me by Kiki Palmer. I was supposed to read this last month, and it was my book club pick. We have finished the book, and we have talked about it in the book club. The book club pick for the next month, or basically this month for February, is Brooklyn by Tracy Brown. If you want to get the book or any of these books that I've mentioned, they will be in my Amazon storefront. That way we can converse and talk about how we felt about the book. So this is one of the physical copies. The second one we have is the third one is Dear Vicky by Octavia Grant. It's a short, like mystery thriller type book. I think it's about like 78 pages. We have Call Me Crazy by Octavia Grant. Unhinged by Octavia Grant, and we have finished all those three. This is why I want to tell y'all about it. I'll tell y'all about the next one. But go ahead and already cop them. Those are 3 short books that you should be able to read in one setting, and I would love to talk to somebody about it because every night we read, it had my eyes bulging out my head. Business as Usual by Sharon C. Copper, Blacktop Wasteland by S.A. Crosby, Only for the Holidays by Abiola Bello, and then None of This Is True by Lisa Joy. We're currently reading this on, well, depending on when you watch it, but we're currently reading it on my TikTok live. If you're not following me on TikTok, if you have it and didn't delete it, I'm Deedeesaidso. We read almost every night. Good Dirt by Charmaine Wilkinson. The release date for this was January 28th, so it's a fairly new book. Please let me know if you read it or if you plan on reading it. The Maid by Nita Rose. Nita Prose. I got this from the library large print because sometimes my eyes be playing tricks on me. And as a Goodreads giveaway winner, I won this, The Mistletoe Mystery, which is the second installment of The Maid. So I hope to read these and hopefully do a Goodreads review about a book that I actually won. And these are the other 4 books. Well, 2 of them are leftovers and 2 are just some that I had in my repertoire if I am able to get to them. So the 2 that are left over from January's TBR is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I read Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by this author, and I've never read anything else, so I want to give this a try. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson. I heard good things about this series. I don't know if I want to dive into it right now. If the library allowed me to keep taking it out, then I'll probably wait and read it in March, but we'll see. Girls with Bad Reputations, which is the sequel to Girls with Star in Her Eyes, which was like a rock star love romance. I feel like Girl with Star in Her Eyes was a little draggy, and I don't know, but this is giving me draggy too. But we're gonna try it, and we're gonna read the first chapter. And if we're not feeling it, I don't like to get too deep into it, and I don't like to DNF books, so I don't want to go there. And the last book on the list is First Lie Wins by Ashley Elston. So the last 2 books, if not finished, will definitely trickle over to March. Same with these. The way that I pick and choose my books, in case you were interested, I do have Libby. Definitely need to get Libby if you don't have it. And I do have Hoopla. The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden, which I mentioned earlier, is on Hoopla if you want to check it out there. And I just put some books on hold, and whatever become available, that's how I read. So currently, in case you were wondering, I just finished Business Not As Usual, and I'm currently reading Blacktop Wasteland, and we're currently reading None of This Is True by Lisa Joy. I do plan to read the 14 books by the end of the month. Consider we are short 2 or 3 days, meaning we only have 28 days in February. I hope I can make it. Let me know in the comments how many books you've read in the month of January, how many books you plan on reading in the month of February. If you want to buddy read any of these books with me, I would love to do that. If you don't know what buddy reading is, it's basically where you read a book along with the buddy. And if you would like to join my book club, you can send an email to deedeesaidso64@gmail.com. Just write the book club. I'll send you a welcome email with the book of the month, our Facebook link, and our Instagram link. We would love to have you. It's completely free. As always, as I say, when it comes to the books, happy reading, and I'll see you next month for the wrap up TBR. See you later.